congratulations to the Republican Party. They've caught the car yet again because they have cut foreign aid. That was the whole thing of found the waste, fraud, and abuse. It's in foreign aid. Okay, they cut it off. $900 million worth of foreign aid was cut because that's all there is. It's a $9 billion cut, or $900 million per year. And for the serious taxpayers, that's like the top quarter of taxpayers. That's the top quarter of households. So that's only 400 million people really pay any taxes at all. Everybody else who thinks they pay taxes don't really. They pay token taxation. It's enough taxes to make you think you're part of the government. You're part of the tax-paying community, so you have a stake in it. You should probably not have to file or have a stake in it. And they should find another way to give money to people who need tax benefits, like through a subtraction value-added tax, where the employers pay the tax and they also take off from the tax and donate and spread the money to the children of their employees on an equal basis, of course, and be auditable to make sure they do that at the state level. So, and maybe the federal level of states start going after poor people because they like to do that because the local elites want to have cheap labor. So rather than having people who are more educated and can do better things, the people who want cheap labor, they like slaves. It's a cultural thing. It's not really good economics. So there are 40 million people who actually pay taxes. Again, because there's 160 million households that pay taxes, and the quarter of them, that's 40 million. So let's see. I mean, it's mostly the top 2.5 that pay half of it, but let's say it's 40 million. It was pay a substantial amount. So that's 900 million divided by 40 million. And that's 200, that's 80, 100. That's like $22 a year. That's dollars, not millions of dollars. The people who actually pay taxes, the wealthiest among us, foreign aid costs them $1 out of every pay period. Yeah, out of every pay period. It's like 25 cents an hour, something like that. It's like, if you assume 22, 23 pay periods, it's less than $2 a pay period. That's for an $80, that's for an 80-hour week. That's 3.5 cents an hour. It's not even rounding. 3.5 cents an hour is what taxpayers pay, assuming equal payment. If you look at how many people, if you look at the people who actually do pay taxes, that's the top 2.5%. They don't work. Oh, some of them do. Some of them own businesses and they pay a lot of taxes. Mostly owning businesses. Some people have high incomes. If you count everybody else below the top half, it's still, 4 million. It's a quarter of that, so it's you get the idea. It's even less of a percent of what they make. It's a lot less than what they make. It's like a small smidgen. And these are people who pay like hundreds of dollars in taxes per hour. because they make millions of dollars a year, or tens of, you know, yeah, they make millions of dollars a year. I mean, when you're in the top 2.5% of income earners, you're making like $3 million, and the top 1% is, I mean, yeah, the top 1/10. I mean, they could write a check and pay for foreign aid themselves. Each one of them, each one of those billionaires can write a check. In fact, they do. Bill Gates writes a check, and maybe Bill Gates and Warren Buffett should just go ahead and fund foreign aid. I hope they do. Then the damn right-wing voters can't do anything about it, or the right-wing talking heads. The Heritage Foundation can't say anything about it because it's not public. It's not a public expenditure. They do a taxpayer foundation for foreign, and they do that. A lot of the stuff that's being done in Africa is privately funded. So, I mean, they'll make, God makes sure everybody's fed. So if you believe in God, you'll believe that everybody eventually gets their needs met, or they're taken to heaven and God will meet their needs. It's, the whole religion is the opiate of the masses, except it's the opiate of everybody. Even the nastiest people go to heaven and they're saying, okay, what did you learn? And by the way, we'll see who you hurt. You get to see who you judge yourself when you go into the afterlife. God doesn't judge you. God loves you. You judge you. You do your life review, and you have to experience all the pain you caused. Now, you'll be in the loving arms of God when that happens, but you still have to go through the embarrassment of experiencing it. There are no indulgences for that. So, if you're voting for somebody, you probably won't have to experience that in a significant way. Some people will, though. The people who wrote this bill, yeah, I'm sure they're going to probably spend some time in feeling all the damage they did to people, in Gaza and all that. So, oh God, God help Netanyahu. He's got billions of lives to look at, or hundreds of thousands of lives, maybe millions that he's made miserable alone himself. He's going to have to experience all that suffering that he has caused. So, yeah, I wouldn't want to be BB I wouldn't want to be in BB's shoes when he does his life review. So, yeah, but they've caught the car. So, now that they've caught the car, there are other cars to catch. Well, there's agriculture, and I'm sure city dwellers. Meat packers will want that, and they'll want to gut some of immigration funding. They want just enough to they want enough ICE to keep their undocumented employees in line, but not more than that. And people aren't going to be able to afford meat either way. And we're going to not plant-based, but lab-grown meat. So, given the human suffering and the animal suffering, good riddance to packing houses. We can certainly do without them. And factory farms, we can do without them. Sadly, the animals will never be born, but at least they're not going to be suffering. So, yeah, it's there might be a few, but getting meat from a non-vat source, it's not going to happen much. And you won't notice. You won't notice. They can grow all kinds of cells, and I'm sure there'll be dark meat, white meat. Hopefully, they'll be dark meat because I love dark meat. White meat's too dry. So no bones, can't choke on them. So agriculture, yeah. Well, not doing global warming is killing agriculture because it's just too hot. It's too hot in the plants where it's too hot for the pigs and chickens and cattle. So they're not going to be in the factory farms. You can't afford to cool those off, and It's a horrible existence for another being to do. So the lion shall eat grass, and we'll have not grass fed, but grass grown beef. I mean, you grow the grass, you turn it into get it to the amino acid phase, and then let the amino acids grow. So yeah. So yeah, they'll be cutting agricultural enforcement. They already are. They're catching. DOGE caught the car, and they're the you've got somebody in OMB who doesn't like science, so he's caught the car. So science is going to get cut, except for defense science. Space is going to get cut, hollowed out. So, they won't, but they'll try. They've got enough votes that some things will probably be killed, which is too bad. But in state, again, AID was part of state. Commerce, they need more people because of trade, because somebody's going to handle the trade stuff. Labor, they're going to gut. They're catching the cars. The point for them, I'm mentioning this, is they're going to cut everything they can that they feel they need to, that they think is waste, even though people need it. And then there's only one thing they can do. They've got to raise taxes on the wealthy, and not all the taxes the wealthy pay. They'll have to cut taxes on business returns, and maybe just shift to taxing business as a whole, but especially the things like the. It won't be that much. We're talking about a 4% increase, but a 4% increase across the board for all businesses is a lot of money for business costs and profits. Any salaries, any payoffs, any capital gains. That's where the money is that can be used to lower the deficit to just an extent that it allows for capitalism. Oh, that's the big car to catch. If they eliminate the debt, or eliminate if they eliminate the deficit, like Clinton did, capitalism goes away, because capitalism needs deficit spending to grow, and you can't get to balance anyway without increasing taxes on the wealthy, or increasing taxes on business owners. So if you increase those taxes by, they're 24% now, going to 26, 28. It's enough. You can go to 31 if you want. 31 is enough to make the economy get better. So 29 is good. 26 is probably enough to stop the back and forth. They decided on 26 on a worldwide basis for all businesses, especially asset values added, or capital gains, whatever you call it. Then we'll pretty much balance the budget, and there'll be no debate left. They will have caught the car, and then they'll lose their right to exist. We'll find some other issues to do, probably space, the desire to actually really go there. So congratulations to the Republicans on catching the car. Keep going, keep up the good work, guys, because eventually they're going to be coming for business owners. So because everything else will be gone, and there's nothing else there. After you cut all the spending you can, business ownership is what gets cut. And that's what originally they did cut in tax reform. So largely tax policy was getting rid of the tax reforms that increased taxes on business. That was all undone. It's time to redo it, because that's the only thing they really can do to decrease the debt. So we'll see. They caught the car.